right, good morning. It's already past 9 o'clock. It's so nice to see all of you. It feels like it's been such a busy semester. It's just wonderful to have all of you here to just be able to take a deep breath and reconnect. So welcome to the 4th annual Sustainability Connect. We're going to just begin with a flashback to last year, as we have done in the past, where we have a video to set the tone for today. All right, take it away.
The idea of a test bed in the university context is doing a research project that has a practical application on campus. I'm working to look at MIT as a system and map all of our material consumption. I'm providing information to MIT by studying MIT. One of the aspects of my research is doing waste audits, taking a bunch of waste that's been freshly generated and sorting it by material type and weighing each of those categories.
From where I sit, the sustainability vector has a positive direction, and we have lots of opportunities to influence that vector and put it in, have magnitude and impact. We have the opportunity to invent the way we not only build the buildings, but also our open space. We are also, with the power plant and our distribution systems, rethinking how we provide energy. And with the analytics in place, there's a lot of room for analysis, critique, and learning.
This whole idea of campus as a test bed is very, very exciting. The cogen plant is right outside my window. I can see all the water just getting wasted of the cooling towers. It'll be the first power plants in the world to use this really amazing technology and have an impact on the water footprint of the campus. The campus itself becoming a test bed helps the entrepreneurship spirit of the campus by providing these pilots and de-risking the technology, and it helps us really reach our sustainability goals.
What we saw was a call for action from President Rife back in October 2015 that really kicked this off and accelerated these testbed environments.
MIT's Climate Action Plan creates 8 new low-carbon energy centers within the MIT Energy Initiative. Each one of those centers is focused on a different low-carbon technology area. Energy storage, advanced solar, advanced nuclear, nuclear fusion. It calls for a new environment and sustainability minor, the first time ever that MIT will be offering a comprehensive sustainability minor. A 32% reduction in campus emissions by 2030 at least. I mean, we see that as a floor. We hope to do much better than that.
Our goal with Sandbox really is to help students in every way possible connect to the right ecosystem that can help them accelerate their ideas. And we have about 30 projects that can fit into sustainability.
We're doing some incredible work on low-carbon technology here, and it will be indispensable to solving the climate problem, but I'd say it's necessary and not sufficient. This is a problem that's going to require all of us contributing to it, so that means social change, behavioral change, but really getting everybody involved in being part of the solution to the problem.
So we have a hard act to follow. So thanks to Susie and team for pulling that together. So now the good news is I did send that to Tony, and I reviewed it myself to make sure Tony and I didn't say the same thing this year, right, as we did last year, Tony. But welcome to the 4th annual Sustainability Connect. We have a dynamic agenda for us today, and hopefully most of you can stay for the duration. We're going to kick off with Tony Sheeran, and then I'll follow, and then followed by Joy Ito. All right, thank you, Tony. And Tony, thank you again for your continued support of all of this.
So that's a hard act to follow, as Julie said. The only thing I'll notice in that is it just seems like my hair is getting grayer and I'll leave it to you to decide whether that's Julie or my grandchildren. So it's wonderful to be here to open up the 4th Annual Sustainability Connect, and I have to reiterate thanks to Julie and her team that put all this together. As any of you know who've tried to organize events like this is not something that takes a small amount of time, but a lot of time and headache and attention to detail. So thanks to Julie and her staff. She had us on her theme the 3 words, imagine, incubate, impact. And you heard those words in the video over and over again. This is the approach that Julie she's a master at distilling it down into those three verbs to set the stage for all of us to how we contribute to the sustainability program. But I'd like to, last year I reviewed a few accomplishments, and I'd like to do 3 today. One an event, the other a process, and the third an enabler. So the event is the MIT solar farm down in Summit. The Summit Farms down in North Carolina is up and operating. Financial information is flowing, as well as the electrons, and probably more important, the data. It's a great way for us to reach our sustainability goal, as Tom Kiley put it in the video, a floor of 32%. We want to go do even better. But what I find interesting out of that is, as the data flows, others are following the example. And even more important than others following the example is they're providing suggestions on how to do it better and how to improve. So the second one, the process, is the Lifecycle carbon calculator. Shaban, over there, yeah, that's right, you can smile, don't blush. She actually did a lot of the heavy work, heavy lifting, to make that calculator usable for the engineering staff and the campus construction folks. And what I find about that calculator more than anything else is not the results, but when the results come in, it's the debate, sometimes I don't want to call it a vicious debate, but extended, heated debate over how to improve, right? And if we're going to make progress in this area, in building new buildings and renewing the 100-year-old campus, that's exactly the kind of discussions we're going to need to have. They're informed by data, they make assumptions, and we constantly go back and critique where we are. And then finally, probably the most important one that I think has the most promise throughout the campus is the Sustainability Data Hub. That is live. The Energize MIT Data Hub provides information to any campus user on our energy usage and how we're doing against our goals. It's now available to students who were taking the Solving for Carbon Neutrality course. And what I find about any time you put data online at MIT, you should just stand back, because the feedback will come, and then more importantly, the ideas will come with it. And they'll be all over, which will give you a sort of a rich environment to work on going forward. So looking forward, the Pathways for Sustainability Leadership document, Israel and Marty, the provost and EVPT released those. Julie has in bold print here that you've all been invited to a design implementation forum on the 1st of June. We hope you can make it. But for me, we are, I would just sum up by saying we continue to make progress on the energy front, but more exciting for me is we're moving past the energy piece and into the resilience. If you have an advanced look at some of the modeling and thinking going on about how to make the campus more resilient, it's very impressive. And we know that that's not just a single operation here to the campus. We're aligned with the wider Boston metro community as well as Cambridge. And I'm looking forward to the data and the modeling that's going forward. So we've managed to put the funding together, and more important than the funding always follows good ideas, and these are really great ideas for how to move that resiliency forward. And I would have to say, if this is resilience, the follow-on actions that Julie and her team have put forward in terms of mobility and waste and procurement are other hot topics on the agenda. So I'd like to thank all of you for showing up, contributing the ideas. I hope you can spend the rest of the day. Don't be afraid to engage into some heated debates, because the data will be there, the ideas will be there, and whenever that happens, we all benefit. So thank you, and enjoy the day.
Thanks so much, Tony. So again, I just want to now take this moment to just quickly thank my team who've have a lot going on this semester. So Susie, I don't never know where everybody is. Susie and Rebecca, Brian, Derek, Paul, and Steve. Anyway, just raise your hands and wave. Oh, there's Paul. So thank you guys for putting so much into this. As you know, we recently had Laborama that Paul was driving. We have this, and then on June 1st, we have this design implementation forum. So it's been a busy but very productive and engaging. And again, I think what this is leading us to is really cultivating this culture of engagement and innovation. For those of you who haven't joined us before, this is really an opportunity to take a moment to better understand what's happening, and as Tony invited you into, to really work with us in having some tough debates where necessary, learning from each other, because I think most of the time we're hoping you walk away learning about something you had no idea what was going on before. So the other piece we do every year is to take this moment. I'm sorry, I just want to make sure I have my slides here. And I don't see my slides. Can you put it on my, can you put it on? I'll keep going, and then Susie will set me up for my intro here in a moment. I do not. Yeah, but that's still not my slides, yeah. I apologize for the technical difficulty here. Can you? The laptop is not my slides. Who knew? Okay, can you guys, while he does this, can you guys do I can see my pieces here now. Can you just get that working? Thank you, I apologize. So here's what we would like to do quickly, is take stock, and every year we ask this question of how can MIT be a game-changing force for campus sustainability in the 21st century? And that's the question that we had posed early on when we launched this office. And the idea being that what fed back to all of you is that MIT was a place that looked outward, not just inward. So that's the way that we've framed this, this office. And so I'd like to start off by asking that question and then reminding you where we started from. So we started off with this notion that many of you around this room were formative in creating this foundational framework of these campus sustainability working group recommendations. And that enabled us to think about, that led to updated design standards in urban metabolism analysis, the work of the Stormwater and Landscape Management Group. We then, that same year, had a campus-wide debate on the question of how was MIT going to contribute to and advance climate mitigation, climate science, and came out with this plan for climate action. And that led to this commitment of reducing our greenhouse gas emissions by 32% below 2014 levels by 2030. But then that led to developing an operational plan. So I'm trying to share with you this cadence we've been able to really develop as a community, from the working group recommendations, acting on them, engaging in a whole campus-wide debate, and then coming back and saying, here's how we're going to implement. And the next phase of this is the kind of expanded vision from the climate plan for climate action, expanding this to sustainability across the campus. And as Tony just invited you to, the next phase of this, and we've demonstrated our ability to do this, is how do we now implement this? So hopefully a year from now, we'll be sitting in the same forum revisiting this implementation plan that we've designed. And so this is new. We've never done this before. We have this cutting edge of this is completely unique and actually game-changing for our field to have a sustainability framework versus a very specific sustainability strategic plan. This makes room for everybody across the campus. This framework has 5 pathways. And this is all available online. But the 5 pathways, in short, are about MIT being an exemplar, a model of transformation for sustainability, a generator of sustainability research, an innovator of educational design, and a thoughtful partner and mobilizer. So extremely unique, and it really finds a place for everybody across the campus on sustainability. So again, for those of you who are able to join us on June 1st to come think about how we succeed at implementing, we can help you sign up for that. And the next piece I want to do is just set the tone for the rest of the day. As Tony mentioned, and as you've seen, is we really seek to imagine, incubate, impact, and do that over and over again. And you may enter this, your place in this story of MIT's commitment to sustainability may come in at different iterations of this. But today we'll talk about this notion of how we are imagining, and what we've set in place is we've invited you to imagine via operations and planning, research, analysis, innovation and solution development, behavior change, learning outcomes, data and reporting. Every issue that we work on across the table, I can look across the table and actually identify where you engage with us, whether it's climate change, procurement, climate resiliency, mobility. We enter each of those areas and we're able to imagine a new future in each of these through these various lenses. And then we seek to incubate and catalyze incubation. And one way we've done that is through our Campus Sustainability Incubator Fund. And you'll hear about those impacts today. We then have launched, this year we were able to launch a course called Solving for Carbon Neutrality, but there's many other examples along those lines that lead to learning outcomes and innovative solution development. And then so much of what you'll hear about today is, well, how do we know we are making impact? And so this year, actually today, Derek will be officially launching our sustainability data pool. And many of you were involved in the development of our Energize MIT platform. And now we're really moving towards impact. How we're able to now look back and say, how are we doing on greenhouse gas mitigation? How are we doing on mobility? But as you can see, each of these areas is, we're able to look at mobility, at climate through each of these areas. It's not purely an operational responsibility. So that sets the tone for today, and it's a perfect segue into be able to bring Joy Ito to join us. And we were just having a conversation prior to getting started, and we're saying our timing finally feels right to find a pathway forward with the Media Lab. And I think the combination of our commitments, our ability to actually measure impact, the culture that we've cultivated with all of you on engagement and thinking about a new future, I think is finally leading us to cross paths and hopefully find a way forward with the Media Lab. So with that said, I'd like to introduce Joy, and he's a man of many hats. I'm slowly getting to know him. He's the director of the MIT Media Lab, and in this capacity, he supports the research of Media Lab research groups, centers, initiatives. We have some of those groups here today. And as I understand, there's over 400 activities going on within that building, so that's a lot to support. He's chair of the board of PureTech Health and serves as a board member for various organizations probably familiar to many of you, ranging from the New York Times Company and the MacArthur Foundation to the Knight Foundation and Digital Garage. He's also the former chairman and CEO of Creative Commons, which I'm just starting to learn about today. As I'm slowly getting to know and trying to figure out how to find a pathway forward, it's clear how passionate Joy is about learning, about engaging and finding new and creative ways to seeking a new angle on common problems. I have not gotten the book yet, but he recently published and co-authored a book by the name of Whiplash, which I'm eager to connect to. So please join me in welcoming Joy Ito to our conversation and actually the foundation for hopefully a new path forward together. Thank you, Joy.